So, would you want to put a movie about Black Widow on your holiday wish list? The Messenger probe has a new lease on life. Find out how and why our probe of the planet Mercury has been extended. I just said probe. Twice. All that, plus we've got a great new interview, as always. That is all on today's daily ration of Slice.
Covering all the news from every dark corner of the universe.
Warning, effects of time shifting may occur.
This is Dr. Michio Kaku.
I'm Peter Mayhew.
This is Trisha Helfer, number 6 from Battlestar Galactica.
Hi, this is Colin Ferguson of the SciFi Channel's Eureka, and you're listening to Slice of Sci-Fi.
SliceofSciFi.com.
A very penetrating episode of Slice of Sci-Fi coming up. I'm Michael R. Renegade.
News is serious, folks. Treat it as such. I am Brian Brown.
I'm Sam Roberts. I'm still laughing.
Yes, probing the mysteries of the universe, I am Tim Adamek.
Je m'appelle Megan.
All right.
Nice.
That's right. French probes.
Well played.
French probes. That's the news, huh?
Positions, everyone.
And now, the news.
That is right. So all the news in the universe.
Outrageous
French accent.
Read the news or I shall taunt you a second time.
Very well. NASA has decided to extend the Messenger mission for another year of orbital operations at Mercury.
Nice.
The Messenger probe launched on August 3rd, 2004, became the first spacecraft to orbit the planet on, of course, March 18th of 2011 is when it got there. Its primary mission was scheduled to end on March 17th of next year. This is what they had to say, though.
And what was the primary mission? Not to burn up.
Yeah.
Yes.
We are still ironing out the funding details, but we're pleased to be able to support a continued exploration of Mercury, says NASA Messenger Program scientist Ed Grazik. Messenger already revolutionized knowledge about Mercury, and its extending the mission will enable it to answer several questions which have already arisen because of these discoveries. Now, scientists want to discover the source of the surface volatiles on Mercury and how late into Mercury's history volcanism persisted. Live long and prosper. Also on the list of questions is how Mercury's long wavelength topography changed from time and the origin of localized regions of enhanced exospheric density on Mercury.
Easy for you to say.
I know.
Yeah. 3 times fast.
Finally, they want to know how the solar cycle affects Mercury's exosphere and volatile transport, along with the origins of its energetic electrons.
Nice.
It's kind of interesting. It
is very interesting.
I'm like, that's really cool that we really want to spend even more time. You know, we've already discovered all these cool things about it.
I mean, we only have a chance to really kind of scratch the surface of this thing. But Mercury is fascinating science.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, there's so much going on. Since it sits so close to that gigantic yellow ball that we call the sun, there's a lot of really cool things that are happening on that planet.
Next to the massive incandescent gas.
Exactly.
Cool.
Yes.
Cool.
Moving along.
Right.
As we gear up for the holiday season, many of us are creating wish lists for family and friends. However, there are just some items on that list that cannot be fulfilled, no matter how cool or interesting they might sound.
Red Ryder BB gun.
I'm sad now.
One such wish is a big screen movie focusing on Black Widow.
That would be
Would have been badass.
Yeah.
The Marvel Comics hero was set for her own movie at one point, but those plans were later folded into Iron Man 2 and the upcoming Avengers movie.
Wow. Okay.
Director and writer David Hayter recently sat down with Blaster to reveal a few details on how he would have brought Black Widow to life on the silver screen. Details on the film include a post-Soviet Empire storyline, a lawless insane asylum, and loose nukes.
Oh, it's the best kind of nukes are loose ones.
Hayter says that the reason we didn't get a Black Widow movie was due to bad timing. He said at the time the movie was under consideration, there was an oversaturation of female vigilante films on the market or coming to theaters.
Sorry, what?
And those audiences may have been getting tired of seeing them. There have not been enough female vigilante films.
I was going to say, are they throwing Sucker Punch and some of the other ones?
Foster.
No,
the
one with
really?
no.
Are they talking,
Zoe Saldana had one that didn't do very well that just came out, right?
Oh yeah.
I forget the name. Yeah. I wanted Columbiana.
Okay, yeah, that's it.
And then there is another one soon. I don't know when it's coming out, but I've seen the trailers for it. Steven Soderbergh is doing one with what's her name, Gina, the MMA lady.
Oh yeah,
which looks really good. Those are the only ones I could think of.
Yeah, but those aren't superheroes.
I call shenanigans on oversaturation.
Agreed.
I do too.
Man.
Buttheads.
Many of us may be familiar with the actress Christina Hendricks from her works in Firefly or, of course, Mad Men.
Yes.
But gamers have been hearing her voice as part of the new Need for Speed The Run.
Yep.
Oh.
Hendricks says while she isn't up on all the latest games and gadgets, she did enjoy lending her voice to the new game because her husband, Jeffrey Arend, from ABC's Body of Proof, is a huge gamer. She said, they asked me to do it, and I thought it would be fun and different. There's a lot of gaming at home. Many hours are spent in front of the computer and TV. I come and watch, she tells USA Today. Hendricks says she doesn't share her hubby's love of video games and that she was a bit daunted when she typed her name into Google recently. Not only that, all the photoshopping done.
Yeah,
she said, it's extraordinary the mean and awful things people say about you on the internet, so I learned my lesson. I do not do that anymore.
Smart lady.
Yeah, don't ever Google yourself or don't ever, go anywhere near the comments on our SciFi website.
Yeah.
Oh, wait, never mind.
Leave it alone.
If you haven't seen that trailer, though, by the way, it is fantastic. Michael Bay did it.
Yeah, I know. It's pretty impressive. That's
the
one thing he does.
Damn good trailer.
Yeah, exactly.
Trying to shake itself out of its rating doldrums, NBC is turning to a bit of nostalgia in their effort to manufacture a hit series. According to Variety, it's going to reboot The Munsters.
Oh, yay.
What?
Yeah.
Oh, man. Megan, we've killed Megan, I think, over there.
Well, remember, the series centered on a family of monsters, including vampires, werewolves, and things that are popular now, right? And while many of us may groan that it's yet another reboot, there is one small ray of hope to this story. Pushing Daisy's creator Brian Fuller is reportedly working on the reboot.
I love him.
Yeah, I know.
Suddenly, I care.
Wow.
Yeah, I don't.
Too.
That could be really good.
It could be, depending on if he puts his weird kind of different twist on it.
If he Pushing Daisies it, so to speak, then
so
I'm
it's
in.
not Twilight-ized, it's Fuller-ized.
Yeah,
Yes.
sorry, it's going to suck.
No, I
Tim.
disagree. I'm on board now. Brian Fuller, I'm on board.
All
Monsters all the way.
All right.
All right.
Multiverse, let's go.
I'm very sorry, Mr. Blackwood, but your policy clearly indicates that you're only covered for alien invasion, not alien infestation. We cannot give you the money for a new starship.
Wait.
Thank you very much. Goodbye.
Well, 13, ever since Sean from Edwards got his own program, we've had all sorts of problems with our starships. I still wonder how that alien got on board. That is an interesting thought. Let me talk to some of my colleagues. Perhaps they can do a little investigating. Fear not, Nigel. We'll all pitch in and get the other ships running as soon as we can. Speaking of which, I believe it's time for the next broadcast, if you will excuse me. Welcome to the Multiverse News Nighttime Edition. As you know, we had a slight malfunction recently, causing what was left of our ship to crash into a satellite, thus causing a slight problem with the broadcast of our regular programming. Please stop tweeting naughty things about us and sending us your irate emails. We take full responsibility for everyone not seeing the grand finale of the show, the next top monster. In order to make you all happy, here is the grand finale in its entirety. Enjoy.
2 scary monsters stand before me, but only one can stay in the haunted house. Frankenstein. The photographers think you're a little stiff, and you could loosen up a little. And Godzilla. Although we're impressed with your outdoor photo shoots, the other monsters think you are too big for the house. Literally. So, the monster going home today is Godzilla. Oh no, don't do that, please. Hey, take it easy, big guy.
Dragon Moon Press bringing you some of the most exciting new authors in sci-fi and fantasy. Their titles open new worlds and bring unforgettable characters to readers just like you. Bring the magic and wonder of dragons to your child with Dragon's Fire, Wizard's Flame by Michael R. Menengay. Write your own story with a complete guide to writing fantasy. Books by Dragon Moon Press, sci-fi, fantasy, and beyond. Order these titles from your local retailer or visit the website at dragonmoonpress.com.
And welcome back to more of Slice of Sci-Fi. I'm Michael R. Menengay.
And I'm Brian Brown. And we're going to cast your mind back to back to the late 80s specifically. So today we're talking with Roger Lee Jr., Tim Dunnigan, and Gary Goddard. And what we're talking about specifically is Captain Power and the Soldiers of the Future, as well as the Skeleton Warriors, because they're coming out on DVD. Gentlemen, welcome to the show.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks. Good to be here.
So, guys, let me give our fans, because this is we're all a little older and our memories aren't quite as good. Tim played Captain Power in the series, and Gary produced the series. He was, I believe, executive producer, right, Gary?
Yes, I was the creator of the show and the executive producer.
Yeah,
Yes.
there you go. So that kind of gives you a little bit of background of it. So, Gary, why don't you go ahead and we'll get back to Roger, because we talk to him all the time. So we'll talk to Gary first. So, Gary, why don't you refresh everybody's memory about Captain Power specifically?
Well, Captain Power was kind of a sensation when it came out. It was innovative in a number of ways. My concept when I took it to Mattel was to do a live-action show for young kids again. And the live-action show, the unique feature would be we would take CGI, computer-generated animation, and create animated villains, these kind of robotic creatures that they would battle against set in the future. And I thought that was enough to make it kind of groundbreaking, because no one at that time, now, of course, there's CGI everywhere, everything's digital, but at that time, to conceive of a weekly TV show that would have to composite in CGI-created characters with live-action heroes in battles was almost inconceivable. And then Mattel said, well, we like this, but we want you to also do one more thing. Can you make it interactive with our jets at home? So suddenly we were breaking ground on multiple levels, trying to create a weekly episodic television series, and it was very challenging. But the basic story is set in the future. Captain Power and the Soldiers of the Future are fighting against Lord Dredd, who has a bio-dread empire, basically digitizing humans, putting them into one great, the machine, making all people subservient to the machine and part of the machine. And this, predated the Borg by almost 2 years.
Yeah.
So, yeah, we were there first, just in case anyone wants to follow in with that question. I want to answer in advance. It was us. We were there.
Yeah, neener.
Kind of a very quick overview, yes.
So talk to us a little bit about the technology, because that was something that I know that you guys were doing really innovative stuff, but that was something we had not seen before. The fact that you could watch this show and get interaction through your TV.
Yes, the CGI was innovative as well, and then of course the layer of the interaction was another layer. But the great thing was that with this technology, which really Mattel had been developing, but didn't have anything to do, they had the technology, but what do we do with this? So we said, well, we can make our robots, we can encode them with the signal that your toys will read. So the unique thing was not only could you get points at home by firing your X-7 jet and hitting the targets, all of which were always just the bad guys, the robotic characters and things like that. But if you did not block their blasts during battles, it would take points away from your jet at home.
Yep.
So the kids found that pretty unique, that they could actually lose points if they weren't defending themselves. But the other cool thing was that if you didn't know there was a toy and you were just watching the show stood up on it. There's many people who watched the show that were older that had no idea that there was actually a toy tie-in. So there was nothing that came on at the start of the show going, okay, kids, go grab your jets. It's time for Captain Power. It wasn't like that at all. It was a serious show, and we had serious themes, and we actually were trying to create a show that would engage our audiences emotionally in the characters and in the show itself, along with the action.
So now the major question is, does the DVD still run the toys? Does it still run the jets?
We believe it will, although I have not personally tested a jet with it, but the signals are, to my knowledge, as far as we can tell, they're the same.
Nice.
I have not. This came together very quickly, and I did not have time to go down to the studio while they were doing the masters and check a jet against it. But so I'm not going to say absolutely, because I don't want people calling you and going, "Hey, my jet didn't work." But theoretically, it should.
Yeah, and let me chime in here, because I was at the post-production house pretty much almost every day when we were doing this, and the general consensus from the engineers at the post house is that if you watch the new DVDs on an old tube television, remember those from years ago, you should be able to fire back and get the reaction. If you watch it on an LCD flat screen that you have these days, because they're progressive scan, they're not interlaced, those old signals were interlaced.
Right.
It will probably not work. You'd have to go to an old tube television with interlaced scanning rather than progressive.
Or you can downgrade your video. So if you actually went to a 1080i instead of a 1080p or 480i, maybe.
Maybe, yeah.
Perhaps, yes, but we don't want to say that yet, because we like Gary said, we haven't had a moment to test it. But but like he was saying, the show holds up for great storytelling, great themes, great concepts. So
sure.
I think the fans really are after that.
So Tim, let's get you into this conversation as well. We've heard those guys blathering on enough for now. So as an actor back in this time, CGI was so new. So how did you deal with acting against something you really couldn't see?
Yeah, it was. I didn't know what CGI was. I don't think I knew what CGI was as we were filming. I'll be honest with you, because we were. How did we film with it? Well, if it was Sauron or Blastar or whatever it was, basically it was a grip holding up a lighting standard with a sign X on it, and they would say, put it in front of you and say, okay, and that's where he is. And you would just, that's pretty much, we were, it was breaking ground not just on the CGI, on the interactive level, but it was breaking ground as far as actors having to learn to act with things that weren't there. I could tell you in my career as an actor, that was the first time that I ever had to do that. And we all got used to it pretty quickly, and I'll tell you what really helped out was we filmed the show in Toronto, and everything was under one roof. It was a big, huge, old bus parking place, I guess. It was a big factory-like place. And everything was there, the miniatures. And we, on a regular basis, those guys would bring over from the studio, wherever they were working on the CGI, and they would let us actually see what it looked like. And that was, I haven't really talked about that much, but, I was thinking about it the other day. And that helped a lot to actually be able to finally see, and it was kind of crude, it wasn't the finished product, but we could see what Sauron looked like and what Blastar and how it moved through the scene. And as we got on, that really helped a lot as far as, in your imagination, seeing the character and being able to imagine it so that you could act with it back and forth.
Well, that's really, really cool. And I imagine, like I said, that was really groundbreaking at the time because, nobody really kind of did that. So I was like, okay, cool.
Yeah, it was certainly as I started out as a theater actor, and I was in New York, and then came out and started doing some TV here in California. And I remember I was telling the story the other day about going to the audition for this and walking in, and they had all the drawings of all the characters up on the wall, and I can still to this day just remember looking at it, thinking, what is all that? I'd never seen anything like it. And then when we got to Toronto and started filming, and it was definitely, we learned a lot every day as we went on. And as we would sometimes have to do some block shooting even where, you would be, let's say in the ship, where we would do maybe scenes from 2 or 3 different episodes at that one time. So you had to learn to do that too. But, it was a matter of kind of getting into a pattern, and we had, really great people, great crew. Wonderful other actors, of course, and Gary leading the charge from down in L.A. and making sure that we were well taken care of and that we could do our job. So as things went on, it got better and better. I really wish we could have done more.
Well, we'll talk about that a little bit because there might be something on the future. So, Roger, let's talk about the DVDs because they're coming out on December 6th, and you're actively involved in this portion of it.
Yes, absolutely. This I grew up with the show. I was 7 years old when the show first aired, so it was my like my friend Chris Wyatt says, it was our gateway drug to science fiction.
I was 14 when I made the show.
Yeah, right.
I was going to say, and I was 17 when I played the part. Right?
Yeah. Believe me, we understand.
But there's a very, very interesting story because the show was so popular, and as you guys know, because I've been on your show a couple of times, I've been doing these science fiction films the last couple of years, stuff like with Ray Bradbury and things like that. So, I love the show, and for years I was like, how come this isn't out on DVD, or how come they haven't tried to reboot it? Because everything has been remade, and this is actually good, and people actually want to see it again. So eventually, through another project I was doing, I got to meet Gary, and after I met him really quickly, I just started asking him about Captain Power. I'm like, give me a straight answer, Gary. How come you haven't released this thing? And, for a couple of years, Gary didn't have the rights to it, and eventually now everything came back to him. So I said, let's try and do something with it. Let's try and relaunch it, reboot it, or anything. And he agreed. He felt the time was right. And so I spent 9 months tracking all the original elements, the original master tapes, original mixes.
Wow.
Reconforming everything, producing and directing over 6 hours of all new content. We got pretty much almost everyone who worked on the show and a bunch of the cast members to come back and do interviews. People like Joe Straczynski, who is a huge name now in science fiction. Yeah. He's involved. This is kind of like a great time capsule of the show, the history of it, the impact it had, and all the episodes in the best possible quality you will ever get to see it. And I'm very happy with it. Everyone, I think, is really happy that it's finally going to be coming out. So it's very exciting.
Yeah, very cool. And that's very, very cool. And gentlemen, unfortunately, we have run out of time to talk to you today, but it was awesome talking to you guys. Go out, Captain Power and the Soldiers of the Future. It's on DVD December 6th, as well as Skeleton Warriors, which we'll talk to these gentlemen probably another time soon about that.
We'll have to get you on soon.
Gary, Roger,
You'll have to
Tim.
come back when we do a new version of the show.
Sounds great. That would be
Gary.
awesome.
Absolutely, yeah.
All right.
Okay, well, it's great talking to you guys.
All right. Thanks, folks. We'll be back with more Slice of Sci-Fi right after this.
For years now, you've been listening to the show and hearing the heartbreak. Podcasters whose only mistake was being born poor. 15,000 pod faded last week, but thousands more podcast on because of sponsors that made a difference in their show and sometimes actually saved it. We know you thought about it, put it on a nice to-do list, but somehow never got around to it, even though the link is right there and you've been getting this show for free all this time. Michael R. Meningay and his friends don't have till the 12th of never. They need you today. And you're just sitting, goofing off at the moment, so why not now? Is it the 16 cents a day, sponsoring a podcast, good microphones, a nice mixer, even a hosting account? It's the best thing that can happen to a dime, a nickel, and a penny. And it's not like you'll feel bad after you do it. You'll feel great about sponsoring the show every day when you get up. You know what I think it is? You just forgot the website. So here it is. www.sliceofsci-fi.com. Slice of Sci-Fi is one of the internet's oldest and most trusted podcasts. They've brought you the best in science fiction. So give now.
System ready.
All right, just a couple minutes left in order to finish the show up here. So, I don't know, we got anything exciting to talk about other than the fact that we need your money. Please please be generous this holiday season and think of us.
Think of Mike in a Santa suit ringing a bell on the corner.
Right.
That's right.
Sad. That's a bad Santa.
Yeah, definitely, because,
$1
Mike...
for me, $1 for the kettle.
2 for me, 1 for the kettle.
Yeah. Kind of misplaced, pillows kind of sticking out odd angles.
2 for
Smelling
me,
of scotch.
Smelling of scotch.
Yeah, it's a little too loose.
Yeah, exactly.
It's like every other Santa that you see on the corner ringing a bell.
It's just the usual.
The same thing.
The ones that bother to dress up as Santa.
Yeah, it smells like scotch and regret.
What does regret smell like, Tim?
Smoked
Are you
salmon.
an
It's
expert?
very distinct flavor.
Smoked salmon, kind of. That's kind of what
Kind of
salmon. Yeah.
That's disappointing. I rather like smoked salmon.
There you go. You were eating regrets, Sam.
Okay, well, we actually have some content coming up for the next few weeks, so we're not ending on this show, thank God.
No, I think that's it. That's it. I'm not coming back again.
Not coming back again?
No, Brian's gone.
Oh, you say that now. You say that now.
Well, ever since you stopped letting me punch you in the arm, it's just no fun for me.
I know. Just you say that now, and just wait. I'm gonna be gone for like a month sometime, and you'll be like, when I come back, you'll be like, thank God, you left me with these maniacs.
No.
Wow.
Yeah.
Really. Never gonna happen.
Trust me.
Well,
you're dreaming.
That was a way to blow the last 2 minutes
Yes,
of the show on topic.
All right.
We did it. We did it.
And we talked about nothing. It's like our own little Seinfeld episode right in here.
Festivus.
It's Slice of Seinfeld. That's right. Next week.
Bring out the empty Scotch bottle.
What's the deal with Terra Nova?
And Megan brings it back around to sci-fi. Thank you very much for saving our bacon.
Beautifully done. Oh, boy, we're going to come back and do this again, aren't we?
Yeah, we really are. It's sad,
That's
but we
kind of
will.
frightening.
We will.
Oh.